Hello, my name is Dr. William Green. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I am a board-certified chiropractic physician specializing in neurology and neuropathy-related issues. If you're watching this movie, probably you or somebody you know is suffering from neuropathy-related symptoms. That's the burning in the hands, the numbness in the feet, the tingling in the legs, those kind of things. And I want to talk to you today about that and what we can do in my office to help treat that. I'll tell you that what makes me different from any other doctor out there is that I'm going to treat you functionally instead of pathologically. That includes the metabolic side of things and the neurologic side of things, and I'll talk about that in just a second. I'm here to tell you that no stone is left unturned when you come to our office to find the exact cause of why you are suffering, the exact cause of your neuropathy. There's over 100 different types of neuropathy, 100 different causes, and so that means there's probably over 100 different treatments that would be effective in your case. So what we do is we look at the person individually, uniquely, and devise a treatment plan for that person that's based on their symptoms and their cause of the neuropathy, and it works fantastic. So how do I successfully treat neuropathy? It's by using metabolic and neurologic protocols. That's like the right and the left hand of things. Okay, let's cover the metabolic side first. The first thing we're going to do is look at some specific lab panels. Some of you have said, well, my doctor's already drawn some blood, my doctor's already looked at that, he said everything's fine. I want you to remember that there's a difference between looking at things functionally and looking at things pathologically. Now, your medical doctor or the other physicians who have treated you are probably looking at you pathologically. Take, for example, thyroid stimulating hormone. Pathologically, they're going to look for a range of about 0.5 to 5.0 when they have your blood done. Now, functionally, I want to narrow that range down to about 1.8 to 3.0. That's not going to tell me if you're hypo or hyperthyroid per se, but it will let me know if your body is trending toward one or both of those, one or the other direction, to let me know if there's a problem with your thyroid. So that's kind of what we do functionally. So we look at a thyroid panel, which is going to look at your body's metabolism. So that's why we check that out. We also look at a CBC with or without a differential, maybe a lipid panel included with that. So we're very thorough when we look at your blood. The reason we're so thorough is that if you're suffering from a neuropathy, your thyroid, your adrenal glands, your liver, your red and white blood cells, your gut function, all these internal conditions can be affecting what you're feeling in your hands and your feet. It can be affecting your neuropathy. Specifically, it can be affecting your nerves, causing them to degenerate or not. We'd also look at blood glucose levels. We want to make sure that your blood glucose is between 85 and 99. That's a much tighter range than you've probably heard from your medical doctor. You've heard of diabetic neuropathy. That's something we'd have to look at too. If your blood glucose ranges are up and down and peaks and valleys, that can have a direct impact on your nerves and how they're functioning. So that's an important area to look at. We also do sensitivity testing. Let me tell you, if you're sensitive to gluten, that can have a very direct effect on your neuropathy and the degeneration happening in your nerves. Now, what is gluten? Gluten is going to be included in wheat, rye, barley, sometimes even oats. Sometimes there's even hidden forms in artificial sugars, artificial flavors, and colorings. So we have to be very, very careful when we're trying to eat gluten-free that we don't get included into those hidden sources. If you're sensitive to milk, soy, eggs, yeasts, that can be causing or contributing to your neuropathy, and it's an important area to look at. We can treat you all day long for just your nerves, and it won't have the effect that it should have because you're sensitive to gluten. So we have to make sure that that's not an issue. So what are the symptoms with a gluten sensitivity or a food sensitivity? Sometimes it's chronic pain, fatigue, frequent indigestion. Sometimes we have bloating after eating, frequent loose bowel movements, constipation, malt ulcers. Sometimes people vomit often. Those kind of things happen with, when they're sensitive to a food. Another area we want to look at is your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands sit right on top of your kidneys. They are, in fact, your stress glands. And if they're not functioning, guess what? They can be causing your peripheral neuropathy. People who are diabetic, the adrenal glands are associated with blood sugar levels. They secrete cortisol. If the cortisol levels are too high, it will impact your blood sugar levels. The adrenals have to be addressed. We would want to look at an immune panel. You could have an autoimmune condition, okay, meaning your immune system is attacking your nervous system. That's why you have the burning pain, the numbness, the tingling, those kind of things, because your immune system is actually fighting against some organ in your body or your actual nerves in your body or something like that. There's two parts to your immune system that we'd want to look at, Th1 and Th2. We want to find out if one of those is dominant over the other one. How do you find out which one is more dominant? Well, you run a blood test and check for that. For Th1, we want to run a test for TNF-alpha and interleukin-2. For Th2 side of things, we'd run a test for interleukin-4 and interleukin-10. So we want to check those and make sure they're in balance with each other. Now Th1 side of things, they have your T cells. Your T cells are the SWAT team of your body, the army of your body. They attack things, they clean it up. If you have bacteria in your body, the T cells are going to attack them and hopefully clean it out so you don't get sick. That's the T cells. They include helper T cells, suppressor T cells, natural killer cells, regulatory T cells, and macrophages. Okay? Just a bunch of fancy words to tell you that's the army of your body. Th2, those are the spies of your body. These are the little guys roaming around marking things that are bad for you, that they want the Th1 to go get. So these are the spies telling the army to go kill them. Now if Th2 is dominant, it's going to be marking things that aren't supposed to be marked, like your thyroid or your pancreas or your nerves, which is going to send the army after them to destroy those things. And that's not a good thing. We don't want that happening. Okay, if interleukin-4 and interleukin-10 are high, then we know that you are Th2 dominant. And just the opposite. If TNF-alpha and interleukin-2 are high, we know you're Th1 dominant. In that case, you don't have a neuropathy problem. You have an immune problem, an autoimmune problem. And we need to deal with that before we deal with anything else. Has anyone else told you anything like this? I really doubt it. Most likely you've been given medications for anti-seizures. Those are medications like Neurontin, Lyrica, gabapentin, Topamax, those kind of medications. They suppress the entire central nervous system. And again, they're designed for seizures. I'm not telling you to get off your medications. That's practicing medicine without a license. So I'm not telling you that at all. I'm just trying to help you realize that there are side effects associated with those medications that may be undesirable for you. Plus, the medications are not treating the actual cause of your neuropathy. So you may be on them for an extended period of time, maybe even for the rest of your life, if that's the case. Alright, we look at TMB lymphocyte panels, we look at cytokine panels, natural killer cell activity, we look at certain ratios, just to make sure your immune system is functioning properly. Alright. If you are Th1 dominant, we want to make sure if it is because of an active antigen or if it's a problem with a dysregulation of your immune system. Active antigens are things like parasites, bacteria, yeasts, mold, fungus, viruses, protozoan, foods. Remember we talked about food sensitivities. Those can be included in our antigens. Those are things that the body can use to create an immune response. Best indicator for active antigens is the helper suppressor T cell ratio, the CD4-CD8 ratio. If it's near or above 2.5, then it's an active antigen. If it's 1.2 or less, then it could be a problem with dysregulation. It could be a blood sugar problem or your adrenal glands. It could be anemia. It could be gut function. That's what I mean with dysregulation. Okay, so we want to look for that. Alright, after immune system, we want to look at bacteria. Your peripheral neuropathy could be due to a certain bacteria called Helicobacter pylori, otherwise known as H. pylori. If that's stuck in your system, that can be manifesting as a peripheral neuropathy. It could be a leaky gut syndrome, which is altered or damaged bowel linings caused by medications, antibiotics, a poor diet, or infections, or toxins, parasites, those kind of things.